why meal planning feels off when time is limited. Over the years, I read up books, started following nutrition experts, and expanded my knowledge of good nutrition. Knowing what to eat and why, yet being unable to carry it through consistently was extremely frustrating. It felt like a personal failure. Now, this gap between knowing and doing didn't rear its ugly head when I was disorganized. It happened after I really wanted to start healthy eating. Hi, I'm Pauline. In this video, I will explain to you why meal planning systems can feel misaligned even when they are well thought out and carefully maintained. This is for you if planning makes sense in advance, yet falls apart once deadline comes, energy drops, and daily upkeep takes over. I will share with you what I realized is creating the gap between my plans versus reality and why it keeps repeating. During my PhD, time crunch was real. Despite it, I wanted to maintain a healthy lifestyle, including eating well, so I tried meal planning. In the early days, I researched and downloaded a few meal plans off the internet, printed my meal plans, stuck them on my fridge, diligently took the Sunday afternoon to put them to action. Yet, after a few weeks into the semester, sticking to the meal plan became nearly impossible. Now, once deadlines started showing up, everything went haywire. My body weight was going up rapidly than I'd ever imagined it would. And what more, IBS symptoms started rearing their ugly head. So without taking care of my food, my health was in jeopardy. I thought maybe it's my time management skills. So I read up on time management and experimented them, like the GTD method, getting things done method. I planned my 12 weeks. I did block planning, and still it felt off. So I had to figure out why my meal planning was off when time was limited. What finally made things click for me was realizing that meal planning does not stand alone. Planning meals lives inside maintenance. Now, what is maintenance? Before we move on, I have an announcement. To help you organize your meal planning, I have created a free grocery shopping list that you can download from the link in the description below. Maintenance is everything that never completes. Feeding myself, cleaning, shopping, and even planning. They all repeat. When I first went to the US to study, it was our first time away from home, and that too alone. My friend and I were talking over the phone how cleaning up is unending. We get hungry and we have to eat and we have to clean, and the cycle never stops. And because we can't skip eating, preparing meals and cleaning was inevitable. So what I realized then carries through to planning my meals as well. It's not about planning alone. It is about repeated tasks. Since they're unending, sometimes you do feel like Sisyphus carrying a boulder up a hill. So I have been treating meal planning like something that sat above my daily life. Hence, there was this gap between meal planning and our idea of it. While having enough time could have hidden this from me, but when deadlines filled my calendar, time was limited and the gap became more prominent. The gap in my thinking was always there, but it's the time limit that made it unmissable. That's why my meal planning was feeling off even when I thought I had done everything the best I could. Meal planning started becoming more nourishing, more of a support when I finally designed it to coexist with other ongoing demands rather than compete with them. So if you're feeling frustrated with yourself like I was, how your meal plans are not quite taking you where you thought it might, and nothing may be wrong with you or your plan. Rather, it may be the planning system with which you create your meal plan that needs some attention. I realized that I needed to allow this invisible gap its own space in my planning system for meal planning to work. If you want to refine your system that supports meal planning as nourishing by bridging the gap we talked about today, you can join my waitlist for a workshop that helps you do exactly that. The next point. This problem shows up after we are more experienced. Meal planning did not start feeling off right from the start. I started feeling off after I knew what I was doing. During my graduate school days, I didn't have enough time to even eat on time, but I did make an effort over many years to learn about health and nourishing meals. I wanted to change my lifestyle and be healthy regardless of the productivity demands. So over the years, I read up books, started following nutrition experts, and expanded my knowledge of good nutrition. Knowing what to eat, how to eat, and why, and yet being unable to carry it through consistently was extremely frustrating. It felt like a personal failure. Now, this gap between knowing and doing didn't rear its ugly head when I was disorganized, and eating whatever I felt like. It happened after I really wanted to start healthy eating. It happened after repetition, refinement, and the effort. So that is an important distinction because it means the problem was not lack of my skill per se, neither was it lack of my knowledge. When meal planning fails at this stage, it usually means the system is asking something unrealistic of real life. That's when I realized that. The plan itself is not wrong. I had to reflect on this. Then I realized that my meal plan felt off because of several factors. Understanding that difference matters. It shifts the focus away from blaming ourselves and feeling like you're burnt out from meal plans. It is somehow relieving. I realized that it shifted my attention from self-correction toward shaping my system that serves me better. So if this is where you're now, nothing needs fixing yet. Recognition alone reduces pressure. You're not behind and you're noticing something real. If you're also like me who wants meal planning to be a nourishing experience than a stressor, hope you've grabbed the free grocery shopping list so that you can save your time and energy without fighting the blank sheet of paper. The planner versus the doer gap. I noticed that the version of me who plans meals is not the version of me who has to cook them. I plan during calm times. I sit down, I think ahead. But when I do things, it happens after work, after decisions, after energy has already been spent, when I don't have that 1 hour to cook, when I have a deadline. So basically, the time when we plan and when we do them are different. And when our planning ignores this gap, it creates a system that asks the most at the exact moment capacity is lowest. That is why my plan never felt obviously broken. It just felt like I was the one who couldn't fulfill my own plan, and it was extremely frustrating. After going through many years of trials and errors, I realized that meal planning is not a goal, but an act of self-care itself. I had to make my meal plans as something that supports me. It is here to help me rather than I'm here to make sure that I follow everything that's in my meal plan. So I know it sounds obvious, but I really had to sit down and think why I had to go back to the basic question. Why do I plan meals? All this time I'd been thinking that I was failing to carry through my meal plans, but when I decided to be kind to myself, I saw planning quite differently. If you want to refine your system that supports meal planning as nourishing by bridging the gap we talked about today, you can join my waitlist for a workshop that helps you do exactly that. Now that you understand why meal planning feels off when time is limited and that you're not alone, a new question keeps coming up for me. If the real issue is the gap between planning and doing, then the next problem is figuring out how to design a planning system that actually supports you as who you are in the moment. And that's what we are going to talk about in the next video. So see you there.